Welcome to Shul Machshava on the Daf. Shir Sponsor Nishvas Am Yakushom Leabas Yitzchok. We're holding Metzia Daf Lamed Vov. The Gemara in Beis brings the case of a shomer who was Peshe and a Behemo and went out to the Hagom Umeisa Kedarka. And she died there naturally. And Rava's Shita is that he's potokor to everybody because Malach Hamoves Mali. She would die naturally here, she would die naturally there. There's no difference where she dies, and therefore it's not the pshia of the shomer. My Rebbe, Ramon Shapir Zitzal, used to say a story about himself. He said that once he was in the presence of Adam who was considered to be very chashuv, and it sounded from the way Ramosha said the story is that person was not really chashuv. He just had a chashivas that people thought he knew what he was talking about, but he didn't really know. And the story goes that this Adam, this person who was considered to be chashuv, someone asked him, is there a Malach Hamoves by an animal? Meaning, does an animal die the same way a human being dies, with the koyach, with the power of what's called the Malach Hamoves, loose translation, the angel of death? Or an animal does not die with Malach Hamoves. It's a different type of death. And this Adam said, it's davar pashut, that an animal does not die with Malach Hamoves. Ramosha at that time was a young bocher. And he got up and said, I don't understand. We have a Gemara in Metzia Daf Lamed Vov. The Gemara says, Malach Hamoves Mali Hocho Mali Hoso. The Gemara is referring to the death of an animal, and the Gemara is saying that Malach Hamoves who kills the animal here is the same Malach Hamoves who killed the animal over there. Nothing changed. Clearly from the Gemara, there is a Malach Hamoves that kills the animal. And in Ramosha's story, he said that this was a proof that this Adam Chashav did not have what to answer. But Achariyun, I see this is not so simple. Mitzad Echad, there's a Toras Chaim in Chulin Daf Chav Zayin that everybody quotes. All the Sifrei Ashchito bring this Toras Chaim. The Toras Chaim goes on to explain what's the idea of Shchito. And he says that an animal dies naturally with Malach Hamoves. The Malach Hamoves kills the animal. What will prevent the Malach Hamoves from coming and killing the animal? What will prevent it will be the shchita. The shchita elevates the death of the animal from being a death that happens through the Malach Hamoves to a death that happens through Gedusha. And he brings the Rekanti in Parshas Re'eh that says that's the idea that a tzaddik dies with misas neshiko. Every other person dies with Malach Hamoves. But the tzaddik has a special death called misas neshiko. He dies with a kiss, meaning he doesn't die through Malach Hamoves. And he continues there that the Rekanti says that the shchita takes away the tumo of the miso of the behemos. Explains it to Toras Chaim. He says he has a longer richus over there. But his idea is that when Malach Hamoves kills, that's when there is tumo. That's when tumo spreads in the world. So therefore, when you have shchita, you take away that tumo. The same way at tzaddik, there's a inyan pidi Yerushalmi. The tzaddik dies, he doesn't spread tumo because he doesn't die through Malach Hamoves. And Toras Chaim says that's the reason that behemo, in order to shech the behemo, it's a much longer process than shechting an oif. Because the behemo is more megushim, is more physical. So in order to take her away from the shlita Malach Hamoves, you have to do much more to elevate the death of the behemo. By a oif, you have to do much less. But the whole idea of shchita is to take away the animal from the death of Malach Hamoves. So Toras Chaim clearly learns that the death of an animal comes through Malach Hamoves, and the whole purpose of shchita is to prevent that. But the Kli Yakor in Parshas Emor, he says differently. And he says clearly that an animal does not die through Malach Hamoves. He says the idea of the death of an animal is the pirud ha'arba yesoidis, meaning an animal is the combination of different yesoidis of the bria. And once there's time for the animal to die, it just dissolves. There's no actual Malach Hamoves that comes and takes away the neshama. And says the Kli Yakor, that's why an animal doesn't cause the same tumor of the death of Adam, because Malach Hamoves doesn't touch her. And I saw in a sefer sending to the sefer Divrei Malkiel, a very chashav Shas Tshuva sefer. And Divrei Malkiel Chelik Gimel Sin Pei Gimel. He brings the Kli Yakor and he asks the question that Ramon Shapir Zitzal asked. He asks, what about our Gemara that says Malach Hamoves Mali Hocha Mali Hoso? Clearly the Gemara is saying that the way an animal dies is through Malach Hamoves. So it says Divir Malkiel, according to Kli Yakar, you have to say is Loshon Mushal. It's not really Malach Hamoves. It means the death of an animal. Usually death in the world, when we refer to death, we speak about Malach Hamoves, but really Malach Hamoves applies only to human beings. The reason we say Malach Hamoves here, it's Loshon Mushal. That's what you have to say according to Kli Yakar. So it comes out that this discussion, if there's a Malach Hamoves bebeim or not, it's a Machlokes of Gedolei Rabbi saying, Machlokes Toras Chaim and the Kli Yakar. We'll just add one more nekudo that I heard from my Rebbe, or Moshe Shapir Zitzal. So maybe this will explain why you have to say like a Toras Chaim that there is Malach Hamoves, or at least that's what Moshe understood. Because Moshe always asked, what's the reason that you need Malach Hamoves at all? A person is living a life. If he needs to die, Akash Baruch Hu should stop the life and that's it. Why do you need Malach Hamoves to come and take away the neshama? Why can't you just stop living? So Moshe explained that Chaim, life, is something which is nitzchi, which is eternal. Chaim doesn't stop unless there's something from the outside that comes and stops it. And that's what Malach Hamoves does. Life continues on forever unless there's a Malach Hamoves that comes and takes away life. Efshar, the way Moshe understood, and this is the explanation to Toras Chaim, is that by animals the same thing. Animal has life, and the life continues on and on unless there's an outside force that comes and stops the life. So that's why by an animal there's also a type of Malach Hamoves that stops the life of the animal. Even that life is nitzchi and goes on and on. This topic obviously needs more iyun. Anyone who wants to join the Shomachshava email list to Hotsko, please email shomachshava@gmail.com.